Welcome back to another video. Hope y'all been doing well. So today I'm going to be talking about how I made 6 figures living with traditional immigrant parents. But before I get into this, I want to show you guys some proof that I actually made this money, and I'm not lying for whatever reason. But over here is going to be my tax statement from Topstep. So this is what I made in 2024. And over here, I'll put what I made in 2025. So my payouts for this year. Yeah. So got that out of the way. Now let's get into the story, right? So starting from when I was a kid, back in elementary school, I was always getting into trouble. I was a badass little kid. I was always fighting with teachers, fighting with kids. What else was I doing? I was just trying to pick fights with everybody that I saw. Like, I was actually like a fucking D1 crash out, bro. It was so stupid. It was over the littlest things too. And my parents, they were always getting like emails from teachers that, hey, your kid hurt another kid, or hey, your kid got a detention. It was pretty funny looking back at it now, but bro, back then, oh my God, like I was always getting whooped by my dad, bro. Like it was straight belt to ass, like almost every day, because I was getting into trouble every day. And honestly, it was more than that too. I was like getting my head like smashed. All right, moving on from that, let's talk about what a typical immigrant parent's mindset usually is. So, how a typical parent was brought up is, they go to school, they get good grades, and then they get a good job, right? They go to good college, get a good job. So this mindset was already instilled into me as a young kid. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but the main problem with this is immigrant parents, or just like any parent in general, usually how it is they're so one-dimensional, They don't know that there's other ways, especially with making money online. Like, this is like a new thing now. They don't know that this is possible. And like for me, I still haven't even told my parents that I trade yet. So I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I don't even know how I'm going to talk to my parents about how much money I'm making actually trading. But, that's for another time. We'll get into that later. But, for now, let's just talk about how this was instilled into me as a young kid. So, in elementary school, I was doing spelling bees. I was doing mental math bowls. I was doing all of this like extracurricular shit just to make my parents happy. And at that time, I didn't know if it was making me happy or if I was just doing that to make my parents happy, right? Now, looking back at it now, I realized that, I was just doing it just to make my parents happy, and I didn't really find happiness doing this. Like, I kind of knew, it's kind of weird to say, but like, I kind of knew from then, I was like not interested in this. I knew that I was going to do something else, right? It's kind of funny to say because I'm literally in college right now still. But I mean, I'm doing this for my parents. I'm making them happy. And that is also important as well. You got to find a balance in between this. It's not easy, but you have to compromise somehow, right? Anyway, moving on. So elementary school, all that happened. Now we're going to middle school, same stuff, right? I'm going to school. I always had this thing where it's like, I want to do something else, right? I wanted to do something in business, in entrepreneurship. I wanted to do something else, but I just didn't know what yet. So in middle school, that's when, the talks from my dad started happening, right? It was like the lectures where it's like, what are you interested in? What are you interested in? What do you want to do in your life? Stuff like that. And honestly, bro, it was a pain in the ass listening to that. Shout out to my dad. He takes care of me, does all that stuff. But, bro, listening to those talks, I was actually so lost. I was self-reflecting, my bad. I was self-reflecting, and I didn't even know what I was going to do with my life. Yes, it was early. I was in middle school and stuff. It is too early to tell, but, that put a lot of pressure on me. And it did help me. And the talks that he did give me, it did help. He was saying some really good stuff that I was able to apply to in trading, believe it or not. But at that time, it was hard to listen to. So now, going from middle school, now going into high school, right? I still did not know what I wanted to do with my life. Freshman year, sophomore year goes by, not sure what to do. And then I find out about trading, right? That was my calling. All right, let's just say that was my calling. You know how people, you've probably heard this before, people say, you have to find something that you're interested in. And once you find that one thing and you stick with it, it's not even like a job anymore, right? It's something that you truly enjoy. And for me, that was trading, right? So first starting off, was not making money. I was doing everything possible to try to make money. I was journaling, I was back testing, I bought a fucking mentorship. I did all of that, right? I wanted to make this shit work. I had to make this shit work because I knew that this high school shit, bro, like this entire system, I feel like it was just not for me. And I had to make it work somehow. So, I put the hours in, not like all the bullshit you see on social media where people are telling you, oh, you have to spend 8 hours locked in a room. You have to cut off all your friends. You have to do all this shit. You don't need to do all of that, right? As long as you spend an hour or two a day, just like focus on learning a new skill, it will build up over time. And that is probably one of the most valuable things to have, as you can start one thing, get good at it, and know that this process actually works. And then you can transfer this knowledge into something else that you want to learn, right? But focusing on my trading journey, right? I put in the hours, wasn't making money the first half of the year. And then second half of the year, that's when I actually started making money. And then I had to deal with another problem. How was I going to tell my parents? Like, what if my parents found out, right? And now I'm going to get into that. Okay, so I had to change locations real quick because my roommates were in my room. So right now I'm in an empty classroom. But anyway, let's get back into the story, right? So my family, we were on vacation in Florida for a week. And at the time, we were at Disney World. So I was sitting in line with my parents. My dad was right next to me. And that morning, I took a trade. So I wanted to check on it. I pull out my phone, check on it. My dad, who's right next to me, he looks at me. He asks me what I'm doing. And I had to explain the entire thing to him about how I was like demo trading the last couple of months, trying to learn all that stuff. And bro, as soon as I mentioned the word trading, bro, like he was smiling the entire day. But as soon as I mentioned the word trading, his smile just completely wiped off his face. That shit turned to a frown, bro. Like at that moment, like my heart just dropped, bro. Because I knew it was over for me. Like as soon as we were about to get back to that hotel room, I already knew he was about to lecture me for like the next 2 hours, right? And that's exactly what happened. So the day went by, go back to the hotel room. I see my mom crying on the bed. I see my dad posted up, just ready to talk to me. I go over and talks to me for the next 2 hours about what I want to do with my life. Like what I want to be in my life, if I'm even going to go to college. Like he was treating me like I'm a failure. Like I had no part in society at all. And bro, that was so dehumanizing. Like that really just stuck to me. And that just really goes to show how one-dimensional parents can really be, like I mentioned earlier, and how they really only think that there's one way to become successful, and that is the only way. And that's kind of crazy to me. And yeah, I mean, like that's how, like, that's why I just kept, honestly, that's why I kept trading. That's literally why I kept trading, because of what my dad told me. Like, I don't know, bro. It's just, I just don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, let's move on to like how I was able to hide trading from my parents. So after the vacation, we go back home and my dad talks to me again. He's talking to me about, if I'm done with trading and if I'm ever going to pick it up again. And I say, no, Dad, I'm not going to pick up trading. I'm done with this. Don't worry, you don't have anything to worry about. But obviously that's not true, because I'm here right now talking to you guys. Anyway, I'm in bed. Market opens at 6:30 because I'm in California. Set an alarm. Wake up at 6:30. I get up, go to the bathroom. I sit there for 2 hours, and I'm staring at my phone, looking at the charts in the bathroom. So that's what I had to do for the next 2 to 3 months before I moved to college and I was able to trade peacefully on my own. I couldn't risk it, bro. I could not risk it. Like, after seeing my parents that day, oh my God, I just could not risk it. And I don't know, like, for you guys, bro, I really would advise to not tell your parents that you trade, especially if you know that they're not going to approve and you're like trying to convince them that, yes, this can work out. It's just not worth the conversation, especially if you're not profitable. Just don't tell them right now. Just at least if you want to tell them, wait until you're profitable so they can at least understand that you're actually making money from this. And you know what's funny about that is, I was sitting in the car with my dad one day. He was bringing up trading again. And he was like, what was he saying? He was saying something, and then he was like, you can only talk to me if you make $20K a month. Then you're allowed to talk to me. And what's crazy is I'm about to hit my first $40K month, and I'm still not going to tell my parents that I trade. So, looking back at that, it's pretty funny, but yeah. Anyway, on to you guys, right? How can you guys find your calling, right? So, just try, bro. Just try anything to find your calling. Like, it doesn't need to be just trading. You can find anything that's interesting to you and just stick to it. That's one thing that I picked up from my dad during all those lectures back in middle school and in high school, is that what he said was, if you find something that you're interested in, stick to it. And that's exactly what I did, but with trading. So as long as you guys can find that one thing that genuinely interests you, bro, just go after it. Like, spend time learning it. Spend time enjoying it. Enjoy the journey. That's like the biggest thing to do. Enjoying the journey is better than enjoying the success. And I'm genuinely saying that. Because, yes, it's cool having 10K months, having 20K months. Nothing beats your first 10K month, right? Crazy feeling. But you can't ever beat that journey that you took, that first step that you took to learning something new. That, for me, is unbeatable. So cherish the journey, cherish the process, and then you will truly find happiness in your life, in what you want to do. And one last thing to end this video off on is, it's not bad to listen to your parents. Listen to your parents, take their advice, and apply it in what you want to do. Even if you have traditional parents that tell you have to do this, you have to do only this, they'll still give you some advice. So take that advice, apply it to something that you want to do, and stick with it. thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, learned something from this. Hopefully, you guys could relate to this.